Everyone, welcome. It's a nice day outside in LA. What can I say? Kerry, how is it in your area?
It's a beautiful day in Atlanta. I'm getting some pics from my family who are out at the park today. I'm getting a little jealous, but I'm
Oh,
happy
that's
to be
cool.
here with you, Tristan.
I'm happy to be here too. Let's get right into this one. The old playbook is broken. Why more leads aren't creating more closings? That's an interesting topic because yesterday I spoke to a large audience in person, and it feels like everyone is recognizing this because now we've gone through a whole, what, 10, 15 years of just getting inundated with online leads
Yep.
because it's just gotten easier and easier. But like, we really have no way of qualifying them. That's why you guys took this whole industry by storm and saying, hey, we've got a solution for you, and this is what it looks like. So I love talking about this, Kerry.
I love it too. I'll jump right in. I know we've got only 30 minutes today, but for those of you who this is your first time seeing Fello, I'll do a brief intro and then we'll get into the fun stuff. But I'm Kerry Kleckner. I'm our VP of Sales here at Fello. Fello, as Tristan said, has taken the industry by storm over the last 4 years. We have about $1 billion worth of revenue influence for our clients across 30,000 agents. We've got over 900 of the Real Trends ranked mega and large teams on the platform too. And that number 15, that goes towards, that's our CEO, Ryan Young. He's got his own team as well. He's a team leader out of Cleveland, Ohio. So we always like to say we're built by real estate agents for real estate agents. We are not a bunch of tech bros out in Silicon Valley just guessing at what the new playbook should be. We're really in the weeds in the market and feeling the pain alongside our agents as well. And so why is the old playbook broken?
Yeah.
Right. And this is, like I said, we're working with over 30,000 agents, 900 plus of those top Real Trends teams. This is what we hear from them every day, right? And so I'd love if anybody's in the chat, if you agree, put it in the chat and we can talk about it a little bit more. But they feel like they're on a hamster wheel, right? Like you're trying to take in more and more leads. You're doing more activity. You feel like you almost have an IV hooked up to the new leads, right? And if you were to turn that IV off, you're not sure if you could make it without it. But you're still seeing fewer transactions and there's more competition in the market. And what worked 5-10 years ago in terms of new leads is no longer producing the results that we've had in the past, right? And so we hear that over and over again, and you're starting to feel exhausted on this hamster wheel, right? Like you're putting in more activity, more smart lists, more tasks, more calls, right?
But it's to everyone, and that's, I think, what's getting tiring.
But it's to everyone, and you're losing control, right? And you could hire more people, you could try to slap on more AI, but you're not seeing the outcome from it, right? And so that's what we hear overwhelmingly day in and day out. And so this is what you need to take away about Fello and what we'll be talking about today. The hidden problem is this. And I made this up this morning when I was talking to one of our top clients and they liked it. So I'm going to try it out here. AI without data is just automation. It's just scaled automation. AI with a fully enriched database is where you really unlock AI intelligence, right? And so the problem that we all have today is that we have a CRM, we have new leads coming in, but it's static. Every single day, your database is decaying. They have moved, their goals are changing, their equity positions are evolved. You may not even know if they're a homeowner, right? If they came in as a buyer lead. And so without a full understanding of who every single person in your database is, the AI is not going to take you to the promised land that you want to be, right? I think we can all agree that more leads, keep buying, isn't getting us there. And so now we're trying to crawl around in the dark to see how is AI going to help us out of this problem. And I see it over and over again that if you don't start by fixing what's at the core of your database's problem, which is full data profile for every single person in your database, none of what we're going to talk about next is going to work.
Makes sense.
So when we're looking at our current tech stack, right? So I hope if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, I'm going to start making this a lot more clearer and take you to the promised land. Typically what I hear is a typical tech stack looks like this, right? You've got your CRM, which is your system of record, right? So it doesn't matter what you're using. Fello works with teams and agents on all CRM platforms across all brokerages. But the CRM is really a stale, static, meaning it's not continuously updating for you every day. CRM that has just the contact information, the properties that you enter into it. Then you've got this email platform that sits on top of it. Maybe it's within your CRM, it's MailChimp or Constant Contact or another newsletter provider, right? That's doing generic blasting, and you'd love it to be more personalized and one-on-one, but you don't have enough data, or you're trying to connect disjointed data platforms.
Okay.
And then you've got the humans that are holding it all together, right? And we all feel that pain. That's like that we're on the hamster wheel, we're losing control, we're doing the best that we can, but we know that deals are falling through the cracks, right? And the number, and if you've been to any of our webinars before, you'll know I always say, if you only take one thing away, this is it. The number to slap us in the face on this is that we know without any doubt, because we've worked with over 50 million contacts across our 30,000 agents on the platform. Doesn't matter what market you're in, doesn't matter how long you've built your database, it's the same every single time. 7% of your database will transact every 12 months with or without you. So I love in the chat if we can talk a little bit about like, what is the size of your database today and what does that mean for you monetarily? Your database is your most valuable asset because you can, almost think about it like a rate of return that you would have, right? 7% of that is going to transact every year.
That's crazy.
If you have 1,000 contacts, that's 70 transactions. So if you're just getting started and you've downloaded your phone and your social media contacts and you're somewhere around 1,000, that's 70 listings in the next 12 months that will happen, right? And you're not going to get all of them, but that's the number one place that you should start. If you're a team that has 10,000 contacts, that's 700 listings sitting in the database that you already have, that you've probably spent a considerable amount of money on with lead generation. You don't need more contacts. We just need to start capturing more of that. And the biggest thing that's standing in the way to being able to use AI and tools to capture that is the data, right? And so we really believe in this new way of, it's a 3-step process, right? Step 1 is you've got to have what we call a living or a live database. You need to have data that is hooked up into your database every single day, updating where they currently live, archiving if you have the wrong property, understanding what is their current interest rate, what is their equity position, how long have they been in that home, right? And making sure that is constantly up to date, right? That's your foundation. Then from there, we can layer on AI and automation and engagement tools like email, text, calling, etc., to reach out to these folks one-to-one with personalized messaging, and then surface actions to the agent where they can step in and take those contacts across the finish line, right? And so this is a playbook that works. This is a new playbook, right? And there are many ways to build this playbook. Fello is one of them that takes care of all of this for you. It's a very simple plugin to any CRM, and we'll jump into that in a second. But this is the way forward, right? And the winning teams of the future who have the unfair advantage are going to be the ones to crack this code.
Makes sense.
Because with the rate that AI is going, which is like breakneck pace,
Yes, it is.
right? The teams and the agents who are able to harness it are going to have an unfair advantage. But back to what I said earlier, AI without the data is just scaled automation. AI with the data is where we actually unlock that intelligence, the artificial intelligence for you. So let's keep going. I know we don't have too much time today. I also do want to show, if you've seen Fello before, we have a new feature that I'll show in the demo here in a minute, which is our full email builder. So many times folks have said to me, Kerry, I love Fello. I love the automations. I would love to consolidate my tech stack a little bit more and just use Fello for everything email. And we have released that. So I'm excited to show you all that today. Not only do we have our canned and recommended AI-driven automations here at Fello, now you can do any email, any newsletter, any update, any just sold, any coming soon email can be done out of Fello. And why is that so impactful? Our email builder sits on top of the data, right? So you're only sending any type of email communication to the right audience at the right time. Love it. Is it okay if I get into the platform, Tristan?
Please do. I always want to see that stuff.
We'll get back to this here in a second. Let me get out of here. Okay. Everybody see my screen?
Yep, I see it. Dashboard 987.
Sweet. So what you're looking at now, we're in Fello, right? So if you're like, I agree, the old playbook is broken, give me the new playbook. How does this work? This is it. This is the home dashboard of Fello. Again, day one, we sync two-way with any CRM, right? So we will ingest all of the contacts that you currently have, good, bad, and ugly. I want to see them all. We will also be able to send any updates that you see from here back into your CRM. So step one is this, database quality. This is pretty typical. Day one, you join. This is an example of a team that's got a total of 10,000 contacts. On average, I'm seeing my teams coming in with 20% or less. This example is 39%, which still doesn't meet good benchmarks. Of the contacts have a property address attached.
That's a lot.
So
in comparison to most agents who, I mean, you know, it's more like 5%.
5%. But the vast majority, I would say 95% of the teams and agents who join Fello have less than 20%.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right? So that's the first thing that we need to address. 65% of the US population, according to the census, is a homeowner. So you should benchmark that at least 65% of your database should have an address. I actually argue that it should be closer to 70 to 80% because you've built your database in a real estate industry of people who are buying and selling homes. So, you know, put the first-time home buyers aside. If you've been doing this for a while, like they could have been a first-time home buyer 3, 4, 5 years ago. They probably are a homeowner now, right? And so that's step number one. Fello this platform, as soon as you upload and we take a look at your database quality, we will immediately bring in the current home addresses for every single contact in your database. Okay. Nice. And that is included. We call that enrichment, and that is like day one. So when you sign up for Fello, the first day, like that's what you're going to see. You're going to see this percentage shoot above 65 at the, you know, at the minimum, and we're going to start to have a much better picture of what you actually have.
Kerry, I think we can help Roger. Rogers is actually, I have so much prepared to do my data. It will be a while before I could take advantage of AI on my data. I think, Roger, I think with what Fello has to offer, it would be more like a day.
Yeah.
You click a button.
If you have their current, if you have an email address or a phone number for them, I can help you. That's all I need. Right. And so you will have a full profile, and I'll show you a little bit more of the data here in a second on day one of joining Fello. Once we get that, the next report that we look at together, and I'm going to put this at last 6 months, a little bit more impactful. Now that we know all of the addresses in the database, we run it against public records and MLS immediately for you. And we prove to you that 7% number, right? And so I can say in this example, in the last 6 months, 223 listings occurred total out of this database. only 2 of them were with this agent. And this is a demo environment, so this is pretend.
Yeah, but I'm sure you're taking the average of what you've seen too, because
Exactly.
you've also shown me the real ones.
Exactly. And so that's the kind of kick in the teeth on day one. We give you all the data, so like that's awesome, and then you learn what is that database worth, right? And so this database, this is a 6-month view. This database is worth annually 464 million in volume, whether it's with you or without you, right? And so it's like, okay, how do we start capturing more of that? Well, we start by doing that by filtering and segmenting the data, right? So we've got a lot of data. Now, what do you do with it, right? Here's a few of my top segments I like to look at immediately. Fellow is then able to filter based on hundreds of property, MLS, and mortgage data points to create these segments for you. So you saw earlier a little over 10,000 contacts in the database. Overwhelming. Where do we start? If I hit expired seller here, there are 18 sellers that recently expired with another agent. That's probably where I would start, right? These are contacts that you already have in your database. You didn't even know they owned a home. They tried to own that. They tried to sell that home and were recently unsuccessful. Another one I like to look at, long-term homeowners. This is different by market. In this example, I filtered for that, yes, they are the current homeowner, and the property was last sold more than 15 years ago, right? In this database, I've got 658 of those, right? So these are downsizers, right? These are the next folks who are ready to sell that large family, what was once the forever home, and move on to the next chapter, potentially. Here's one where I'm going to take, as I go over to show you the email and automation tool. Buyer need 500 to 600,000, 3-3, no pool. Okay, this is an example of, let's say you have a buyer, like you're working with a buyer, a buyer, and this is their profile that I've just, in this scenario, they're looking for something 500 to 600,000. You can go now search your own database and reverse prospect your own database to find a potential likely seller that matches the profile of what they are looking for.
That's awesome.
And now with Fellow, let me show you this. I can come in here, create an email. We can create a automation for you or just a one-time regular email. We've got tons of templates in here ready to go. I love this one for this example. And again, this would all be white labeled and branded to you. Hey, homeowner, we're currently
Piper.
Some people get it, some people don't. You're in California, you get it, Tristan.
This is good. Okay, continue.
Pied Piper is from the show Silicon Valley. Tech nerds get it like along the way. So Pied Piper Real Estate, sending this to the potential, like the homeowners in their database that fit this profile. We're currently working with buyers who are actively searching for a property type in your city, and your home may align with what they're looking for, right? This doesn't mean there's any obligation or immediate decision, just a buyer interest in homes like yours has been active recently, right? So letting them know, like, if you're interested in selling, I've got a buyer, right? To send an email like that, right, you got to make sure it's going to the right people, right? And so this is a fully optimized and customizable email builder tool where you can change out any of the text, bring in any of the any imagery that you would like, etc. I'm just going to go ahead and click to the next one. When I decide who I'm going to send it to, that's where I'm going to go into my buyer need segment, right? And now an email like this is going directly just to that group in my database of homeowners that fit that profile, right? Trying to reverse prospect into the existing database. You can do this one-off. So that's a one-off scenario that I showed you there. We can also do this in mass at scale for you, right? So let's go back to that expired seller example that I shared earlier. What if, and what I would recommend, that every time someone expires on the MLS with another agent, we just automatically email them for you. We have all of the email content like pre-crafted, and every, we can set the frequency every 3, 5, 7 days. They continue to, the system continues to email on your behalf, and you don't even have to keep tabs on it, right? So I'm showing a couple of examples here of what some of those pre-built automations look like. And here's one for the expired. Let me just give an example here. 1, 2, 3. And so what this is going to do, right? Anybody who has expired in the last 90 days and they've got an email, boom, they enroll in this email. There's a little delay. All of the templates are here and ready for you to go. Again, you can come in here and update any of them if you'd like. But now you don't have to think about it.
That's awesome.
Right? And so that's going back to, again, the entire theme.
Yeah.
AI on top of no data is just generic automation that might get you a couple of activities. Yeah, I mean, it's not that it's not going to work at all. But on top of a foundation of data, that the importance of getting a current address on every single contact in your database, and then a live feed every day of what is coming from public records, MLS, mortgage data, etc., to then make sure that you're on automation, right message, right person, right time. You're going to see what I call signals or engagements, right? Opens, clicks, hand raisers, replies, go through the roof, right? Because I can't tell you how often I get an email from a real estate professional about interest rates changing. I don't care. I bought this home in 2021 with a 3% interest rate. Like, that is irrelevant for me and brings down the status or expertise, in my view, of that professional, because they're reaching out to me as if I have a 7% interest rate.
That's true.
Right. And so if you are going to invest in AI, you're going to try it out. Maybe there's something built in your CRM already. You're looking at a couple of tools. You absolutely should be doing that. By the way, with where the industry is going, do not just slap AI on top of a messy database, because all you're going to get in, mess out.
That's so true.
At the end of the day. So I'll pause there. I just threw a lot at you. Any other questions in the chat that we want to get to, Tristan?
Yeah, I have one question. It came up twice, and that's, if we're going into a farm area, how do you envision working this into a farm area that we've got?
Love it. So in order to upload a contact into Fello, you either need their email or you need a home address. So if you have just a list of home addresses in a farm,
whole bunch,
there you go, right? Upload them into Fello. We pull all of the data. We can help you with postcards, right? So rather than sending postcards to, through every door direct mail to an entire farm, let's get really hyper targeted on maybe the 100 homes that fit the profile of what you're looking for. And let's hit them weekly, right? Versus just spraying and praying an entire area with messaging that might not be relevant.
That's true. Also, if I give you an area, you're going to tell me who's more likely to move, and then I'm more targeted with those postcards.
Right. So if you've got an area that you're farming, who do you want to work with? Right? Do you want to work with the downsizers? Do you want me to show you who recently expired? Do you want folks with a certain amount of equity? Do you want property values? Like, you really only specialize in luxury, so you're looking for $1 million or above. Like, these are all things that we can start to filter for you, and then make sure that as you're reaching out to them with marketing, and if you're spending money, like in the example I gave on direct mail, which is very expensive, let's make sure it gets into the people, in front of the people that you A, want to work with, but B, with a message that they actually care about.
I love that. You're reverse prospecting.
Exactly.
That'd be a great one to do the next round.
I love it.
Like a reverse prospecting in your farm. Roger, listen, we answered your question. Jump on Fellow.
Jump on Fello. Scan the QR code, Roger. Tell them that you were on my webinar today. It usually, depending on the size of your team and how many users that you would have, there typically is an onboarding fee that starts at $500. If you're on a large team, it can be up to $1,500. We are offering the Lab Coat Agents community a $100 to get started promo from this webinar. So all of that data, all of that free enrichment, it's only $100 to get started if you come in from the webinar today. So Roger, I don't want there to be anything standing in the way of you and getting a better, cleaner, more updated database. So go ahead and scan the QR code. I think we also have a link that we can put in the chat that's here on the slide that I have, and we'll get you taken.
There it is. And then Kelly, I noticed that one of your announcements, you have Gabe Cordova over there now, which is kind of cool to see. I was like, whoa, when did that happen? So that was really cool.
That happened last week. Gabe Cordova has been a friend of ours for years. He's been a user of Fello since the beginning. For those of you who don't know, he runs operations and a team leader with Robert Slack, which is one of the largest Real Trends ranked brokerages in the country. He's also steeped in the real estate tech space and being a founder of some platforms himself, recently being at Ylopo. And he's what we call a realtor in residence, right? Somebody who is actively in the weeds, running a team and a 5-star operator every single day, but also a tech expert. So we welcomed him to the Fello family. It was a huge win last week. And I have a feeling, Tristan, next time, as much as I would love to be here, I bet Gabe is going to fight to come.
Gabe's going to jump in. All right. Answer me this. It's twice here and then a couple of times in the Facebook group. Well, what are the ongoing costs?
Yep. So Fello is a monthly subscription based on the number of contacts that you have active in Fello, right? So there's no success fee. It is literally just, depending on how many contacts you have in your database, there is a corresponding price. The lowest plan starts at 500 contacts for an agent who's new to the industry and just getting started. And that starts at around $200 a month and then scales up from there.
Easy.
Easy peasy, right?
Thank you so much, Kerry. This was awesome. I love it. Let's do reverse prospecting into a farm area. I think that's important, especially as things are becoming, I feel, more localized now with AI niching down. You guys have a powerful product that can help us do that way better. So thank you.
I love it. Thanks for having us today. And if you have any questions or follow-ups, feel free to click that link. My direct email is also Kerry, Kerry at Fello.ai. So happy to chat with you.
Fello.
Fello.ai.